I'm in a dilemma what language I should speak to you. First I'll speak in English, then in Hindi, then in Marathi. We all have come here to Kolhapur to worship the Mahalakshmi. बंद करूँ तो फिरता कराने का घूमने वाला कर दीजिए कुछ. And you all know about the importance of Mahalakshmi. That Sushumna Nadi is the channel for Mahalakshmi. But this principle of Mahalakshmi is only possible to manifest in us when our principle of Lakshmi is satisfied. When we see poverty in India, we really get very upset about it and think, when will it be all right when all these people will also get the blessings of the divine. So the principle of the divine works through Mahalakshmi. It's a vicious circle that you have to get to a point where your Lakshmi principle is satisfied. And then only you start seeking. And that seeking comes from the Mahalakshmi principle within us. So, Sahaja Yoga grows in the middle path, in the middle section of the society. Very rich will seldom come to Sahaja Yoga. And if they come only, they'll just take few advantages of it and they won't understand the depth of it. In the same way, the poor cannot come. So these are like the two shores of one river that is flowing in between. And if we start expanding, then we will definitely shower the blessings of the divine on all both the shores. And I'm sure lots of people who look today to be poor and who appear to be rich will definitely become Sahaja Yogis. It's such a vicious circle that unless and until you become a Sahaja Yogi, your financial situations cannot be improved very much. But you cannot become a Sahaja Yogi unless and until you have got your principle of Lakshmi satisfied. So how do we get our Lakshmi principle satisfied? That we should see. That when we have little more money than required, then we start thinking, what shall I do with this money? Then some people think, all right, I'll have one more car, I'll have one more house, I'll have one more this, more that. But sagacity sets in. A kind of a satisfaction sets in Now, what more? In addition to that, we have taxations, thanks to the government, and all kinds of problems. So people think now I've had enough of it, now no more, finished with it. So the hankering goes away. Hankering for money goes away. In Sahaja Yoga, you are so blessed that you start getting whatever you like. And at a point you reach and you think, oh wow, too much, now no more, I want. This is also another way, even before your Lakshmi principle is satisfied, that if you get your self-realization, you can short-circuit the whole thing. If that is short-circuited, then also you can enter into Mahalakshmi principle. But in case where your situation is such that now you have become overly rich, and if that richness has gone into your head, and you think no end of yourself, then there are still some chances of you getting into Sahaja Yoga. For example, if a very rich man is there, if he gets sick, if he gets cancer, or his children start misbehaving, or he suddenly gets a bad reputation somewhere, some sort of a shock from his right side can push him to the center. Now the left-sided people who are suffering too much because they are poor, because they are lethargic, because they don't know how to get to their jobs. They have no ambitions, nor do they compete. In a way, they are in a better situation than the rich, because they don't have to worry so much about income tax, as if they have solved their problems by having no income, no car. If you have no car, then you don't have problems of car. If you have no, I've done that way. I never drive, so somebody has to drive me. I can go by bus, I can go by rickshaw, anything. But if you drive, then you have to drive all the rest of the people. If you have got, say, a house, you have a problem, everything that you possess, so-called, you have a problem. And till you develop a complete detached feeling about it, the problems are there. So then, what happens to you? That when you start all these problems creeping up, in India especially I have seen, people become generous. Very miserly people also become generous because they become so fed up with their so-called wealth that they start distributing it and giving it away. So the principle of Lakshmi is to give away, to be generous. That principle starts working. Then the second principle of Lakshmi also works with them when they have very nice, beautiful houses and things. Then they want people to come to their house, stay there, look after them and give them food. And they enjoy all this, giving parties or maybe money, anything. So this generosity starts. But that generosity also is not very satisfying. They think that still this generosity is getting into my head. I am still feeling as if I have done some great job, by being generous. Then this generosity, when it doesn't satisfy them, then they start thinking of getting to the truth of life. It's a story about Shivaji, very interesting story. He was once building a very huge, big fort. and people were working, and he was just looking at them, and he thought, see now, what a nice thing I'm doing. I've given so much work to so many poor people. I was feeling quite happy about it. I was looking at them. Suddenly his Guru Ramdas Swami came there, and they were breaking one boulder. They said, slowly, slowly break it. Do not hit it hard. They were breaking slowly. Ultimately they came to a stone which was just like one coconut. So Ramdas Swami took that coconut in his hand and broke it. And there was water in it, and there was a frog sitting inside. Then Shivaji Maharaj realized that when God creates you, He also provides you things. You need not be proud that you are